You know what you people are gonna ask me? Gamester, is the PS5 Pro finally worth the money? And I'm gonna go as far to say yes and no. There's a lot of power under this hood, man. The system's having close to about what, 17 teraflops? That's actually quite impressive. So there's a lot of horsepower under this. But the problem is the CPU is the same exact thing. It's like a bottleneck. We kind of knew this already, and that probably explains as to why when we look at these comparisons, a lot of these games play entirely the same because Sony did not enhance the CPU with this console. Like, why did y'all go for 17 teraflops and didn't just upgrade? You should have went with 15 or maybe 14 teraflops and then upgrade the CPU. You probably would have had a more impressive console, but no, because what's more funny about this is the fact that Sony enhanced it graphically, but yet they're using the graphical aspects of the console to push for better frame rate. It's like, what? Like, why did you do that? Like, that doesn't make sense that you would increase the GPU just so you can get better playing games when all you had to do was increase the CPU. And this is why people say PC gaming is better, because you can look at something like that and be like, okay, I'm going to upgrade my GPU. Oh, okay, I'm going to upgrade my CPU and see these significant differences. See, the problem is y'all got close to 17 teraflops, and you're not even going to see these differences in these games. Are we going to go as far to say that the base PS5 is holding the Pro back, just like what y'all did with the Series S and X? I don't think so. Because to be honest with you, we still should be seeing more impressive games, and it will vary based on a case-by-case basis, which has already been mentioned. And like I said, Bloodborne running at 30 FPS is embarrassing. Oh, they couldn't do it on the base PS5. They couldn't do that. Oh, really? Because every time they remaster the console, or I should say the games, for the PS5, that's essentially an upgrade. So you're trying to tell me that the PS5 could not do what Sony's doing with PS4 games? No, they just want to remaster and remake them for you so you people can buy the games again. That's how embarrassing. I'm telling you, man, as much as I want to like the Pro, but the lack of games is the reason as to why I'm not picking one up. And yes, there is a decent amount of power under this hood, but the problem is how many games are actually going to fully utilize it? Unreal Engine 5 games are probably going to look better on here. Maybe these so-called Xbox games are going to look better on your PS5 from a graphical standpoint, because a lot of these games already hit these same quote-unquote performance options on the PS5. So it's just like, I really don't know what Sony was thinking with this console. Like, it is definitely a nice device after seeing the specifications, guys, but I just don't know how Sony was thinking about this. Like, why are you using the GPU power to push for the performance while also trying to maintain the higher graphics? Like, that's a huge bottleneck. Why did Sony do that? But you know, it's like 16.7 teraflops. That is quite impressive. So more than likely, you guys will get better running games to a certain degree. You know what I mean? But it depends on how companies, or should I say developers, optimize it. Because if a company's optimizing a game based solely on the graphics, then your performance might even be worse in some, in-case scenarios. You know what I mean? Like I said, man, it's really hard for me to critique this game. Now, the lack of games, obviously, because that can even apply to the base PS5, but it's just like, I can't justify people getting one even with the close to 17 teraflops. I can't, because how many games are actually going to take advantage of it? I mean, maybe if Sony decides to push these games graphically, but Sony has stated time and time that they're trying to push for the resolution and performance mode, which a lot of these games already ran at 60 FPS in performance mode already. So, like, how clean do you guys want these games? I just don't get it, man. This whole system is bottlenecked, and what's even more embarrassing, you guys definitely got a powerful system, but more than likely, you're not going to really see these fundamental differences. It really is this sad, man, and this is why people opt out for PC gaming, because they can choose the parts that they want. Okay, my GPU's all right. Let me go get that CPU, and there you go. There's the difference. See, now with a console, you get your stuff pre-made, and more than likely, it's locked in a lot of cases. So even if the PS5 Pro is capable, Sony's going to still lock their games to 30 and 60 FPS. And this is what makes consoles so garbage in comparison to PC. And this is something that a lot of you console gamers are not understanding. This is why you people complaining, oh, why is Bloodborne running at 30 FPS on the PS5 Pro? Like, y'all complaining that the PS4 games are running at 30 FPS on the PS5 Pro. And what makes it even more funny, Sony could have been able to give you 60 FPS even on those PS4 games. Oh, no, they couldn't. They doing it now with God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West. So how you going to sit there and say they can't do it? They can do it. They just don't want to. You ponies have to go out there and, speak loud and clear and let Sony know that you need to start putting some updates like Xbox. Instead of condemning Microsoft, you need to copy them. Because Sony, what you're doing with this console is a huge disservice to anybody that has ever picked up a PlayStation. Because how you going to have all this power, but yet you ain't doing nothing with it, man? It's just like what they said with the Series X. Oh, how you got 12 teraflops if the PS5 versions are looking better? So we're going to go ahead and use that same argument with you. How you going to have 17 teraflops and yet your games barely even look that much better than the Xbox Series X? Like, come on, man. Y'all got to get with the program, man. But we got our own game. Sony gonna optimize. Nope. Bro, that Ratchet and Clank look the same, bro. Let's be honest, man. 17 teraflops. And your games still look the same. And we got to see what Mystic's got to say about this, man. I really hope he ain't damage controlling for this. I hope he's trying to be honest. Oh, yeah, and then also, too, the improvements on the RAM. 2 gigabytes of extra RAM. That's good. That was actually very impressive. I did like that aspect.
2 gigs as well for basically non-gaming apps, probably very
small. Oh, they did it with the non-gaming apps. Sony, you suck. You suck. How you... Bruh. Do we have to rewind that, man? I'm very disappointed with this console, man. Look at it. Listen to what he just said.
Also, I believe this is new. As far as I remember, we did not hear about this. DDR5, 2 gigs as well for basically non-gaming apps.
For non-gaming apps.
Very similar to what we saw with PS4 Pro, where that had an extra gig of DDR3, excuse me.
Nothing that I ain't benefiting from.
Which, again, they're not saying this, but the memory is also faster on this console. Part of the developer documentation was that developers were going to get an additional 1.2 gigs from system memory, so they have a usable total on PS5 Pro of 13.7 versus 12.5. And then for
that's not going to be that much of a difference.
Supply 390 watts compared to the original CF5000 series, which was 350 watts.
Yeah.
Although other caveat with this is that your typical usage when you're actually playing games is like around 200 to 210 something watts if you're playing the most intensive like 4K games that the console has right now. And of course, storage is 2 terabytes as well. So we didn't really learn a whole lot outside of that extra memory there. But
yeah, and the 16.7 teraflops. Like I said, man, Sony really bottlenecked your console, man. It's sad, man. Watch these ponies run with, we got 16 teraflops or 16 teraflops of nothing because your CPU is the same exact thing. This is embarrassing, bro. Like, how you guys are gonna have the most powerful console? Now Xbox guys are laughing at y'all. How do you guys have the most powerful console, but yet we ain't seeing the most powerful difference? The Xbox Series X owners have flipped it on y'all now because Last of Us and Ratchet and Clank and Bloodborne even all look the same. And what's even crazy about this PS4 super sampling mode they got on the Pro, that should also be offered on the base PS5. Oh no, they don't have the super special spectral resolution. Yeah, bro, get out of here, bro. Sony out here playing you fools, man. Your system is locked and limited. There you go.
Again, I'm fairly certain we did not know that info beforehand. But yeah, it's one of those weird things where, like, technically Sony did not give us any sort of spec sheet.
Yeah, and there's a reason for that.
And then some far before it.
And another issue with this, right, is the fact that you guys increased the GPU to have better ray tracing, which is only going to affect the performance of the same CPU. The 32, that's obviously nonsense. But like I said, the super resolution, like why? It's like Sony couldn't make up their mind how they wanted to do this console. It's like, do we want resolution or do we want performance? Because it's like you use the GPU. Did Sony for some reason think the GPU had everything to do with performance? Because why would you increase the GPU and make that faster, which is obviously going to, like, essentially it's taking resources from the extra parts of the GPU to help with the performance or whatever, to kind of lock it down a little bit better. And that's what's going to make this console don't feel that significant. Because, like I said, man, all this really needed was an upgrade on the CPU and maybe 14 teraflops, and you probably would have had a huge difference with this console. But no, for some reason, Sony wanted to upgrade that graphical prowess.
As again, that was official documentation given to developers. Now, with that said, let's move on to the one aspect of PS5 Pro I've been so curious about, and that is what it does for PS4 games when it improves the image quality of those titles, because we do know it can do that. This is something that Sony really has not spent much time talking about, and with more evidence and actual examples now popping up, it's funny to see people...
Man, don't shill for this, man. Don't shill for this,
like, wow, I didn't know it could do this. But it does, and it's something they included as
which also could have been offered with the PS5, man. How many gamers wanted this with the PS5 and they didn't give this option of upgrading their PS4 games? Y'all could be running Bloodborne at 60 FPS, the remastered game. Microsoft does it all the time with their games. This was a scam, bro. I'm telling y'all, man. Like, I'm so disappointed with this.
Singular little line.
I'm more disappointed at the fact that it could have been a great console, and unfortunately, it's been bottlenecked. That's actually where I'm disappointed, guys. Because like I said, I was talking highly about it. You heard me. Oh, you an airbot. I was saying, oh, wow, there's close to 17 teraflops. That's pretty impressive. But when you start looking at the spec sheets and you start looking at everything else and how it's supposed to all align with each other, you realize, like, hold on, Sony just bottlenecked their system.
Just a little blurb of text on the PlayStation blog that PS5 Pro can enhance the image quality of select PS4 games. They're very careful.
Keyword, select. It should be underlined.
Language, just to imply that, you know, in case you run into weird behavior or the games somehow look worse, it's the same for or something. Or
games looking worse. You hear that? Look at that. You might experience unexpected game behavior while playing this PS4 game on your PS5 console. Bro, Sony, you got to get this together, bro. Series X, we don't be seeing text like this every time we want to play a game. The fact that even your own games don't even run that well, even though it's a last generation game, Sony need to work on their optimization and their backwards compatibility emulation. They got to work on it immediately because I think it's rather embarrassing because you know what's funny? I played a PS4 game on my PS5 and to be honest with you, it played worse on my PS5. The game actually played better on my PS4. Sony got to get this together, bro, because that's one thing y'all don't want to admit that Microsoft is very good at. Their emulation.
It might work like 99% of the time, but they always try and phrase it in a way where it's just a little bit illegal. So it is a blanket on-off switch.
And it's only for image quality. See, that's what you people don't understand. Y'all like, oh, we want Bloodborne Remaster at 60. Look at it right there. Enhance image quality. That is it. That is all it's for. It's not even to help with the performance. It's just to enhance the image quality. That is it. So you guys got shafted with this console.
Because we did not really know for certain if that was the case based on the PS blog's language of
the PS5 could do this.
Select PS4 games. It is still, you know, very peculiar language, but just
wow, the damage control.
There, we weren't sure if that means, oh, maybe only PS4 Pro titles, which have dynamic res, and maybe that's the weird, you know, sort of caveat they're going with, or if it is going to apply to all PS4 games, which
you clearly know it's not going to apply to all. Stop capping, bro, Mystic. I know you a neutral, or supposed to be a neutral gamer, but you've been capping for PlayStation, man. It just told you a select few of games. You just read a select few of games, which probably means more if the company decides to update it. Most of these companies ain't going to update these old PS4 games. Maybe Sony will, but yet again, Sony updates them by doing another remaster and a remake. So who's really benefiting from this? You know, Microsoft was able to capitalize it at the time because these games was new coming out on the Xbox One and PS4. Nobody's going to go back and, oh, we're going to enhance Red Dead Redemption 2 again, you know, when we out here trying to make money with Grand Theft Auto 6, bro. That generation is over.
That's what I was hoping for because we do have a lot of like standard 1080p PS4 games that never saw a PS4 Pro patch, and so
you're not going to get them. You're
pretty...
not going to get them because your Pro patches is going to be buying the game again for a $10 upgrade. Watch.
Noticeable improvement, and so sure enough, our first example that we're seeing are some.
And you know what's funny, man? And I'm gonna be honest with you. People are right when they said Xbox should have did the upgrade. You know, I'm starting to understand as to why people are saying it. And I'm not saying it as more of a predominantly Xbox gamer because I've been playing on my PS5. I haven't been on my Xbox in a month. But I'm trying to say Xbox would have benefited more from this because they would have actually enhanced their games. Sony doing this was just all halved. Like, you feel me? I think that's where people... I agree with the Xbox dudes. If Microsoft had this of what Sony's doing, they would have did a far better job at enhancing these games. You wouldn't be complaining about Bloodborne being at 30 because the game would have already been 60 on the Xbox Series X.
screenshots of Bloodborne, because
Look at
naturally this is
It's
the
the same
1080p
game.
PS4 game that people are going to
No, y'all capping.
boot up and try and test
Oh, y'all
out.
capping.
So we have some compressed and uncompressed examples here,
Y'all
which I
capping.
think starting off with the compressed one is more noteworthy, given that the difference, I think, is
close to 17 teraflops and games still looking the same from the PS4 generation.
A bit more obvious in this one, so take with that what you will. But
It's
you've
the
got
same game,
a pretty
bro.
basic view of the hunter here, and it might initially seem like it's not all that different. I think,
and you know it ain't. Stop capping, bro. Stop capping.
Depending on your own preference or your eye for these kind of things, you might not really notice a difference at all. Just zooming in on certain areas, you can see where it certainly is sharp.
Yeah, but look how much you gotta zoom in. It ain't, bro. Come on, man. You capping, missed. You know, I had a lot of respect for you as a content creator, but man, these type of videos just make you look bad, bro.
Sharper, I think, is
what do you mean sharper? It looks the same.
There, like if you
it ain't there, bro. Like, I mean, come on, bro. I gotta literally get a magnifying glass to see what you're talking about.
A bit sharper. If you look at the definition of the character model's face, it's sharper.
It looks the same, bro. I could do this on my own television. Contrast. There you go.
Fine there, maybe just slightly.
People even have stated that even their own TVs provide better optimization and updates or upgrades to their games or just things in general when they watch TV than what this PS5 Pro has done.
Pronounced. It is, it's there. And so when we look at the uncompressed image, which we've got a great little slider here on the web that we can take a look at. This shot maybe not nearly as good, if only because you've got the ambient fog that's different.
No, come on. Oh, you can't see it because of the fog. Bro, if you can't see it, then it ain't there, bro. It ain't there.
In both positions.
Happen.
But, you know, there's still many areas we can examine, and you can see it is very much being used here. You would think Sony would maybe spend more time talking about that. Honestly, the reason why Sony maybe didn't really say much of anything outside of that very time on the PlayStation blog is because of the very example we have right here on Bloodborne, which is, it's so subtle to the point where, I mean, it's cool, and I think it's very welcomed. If anything, I think it's great that we have, you know, a console.
But the base PS5 could do this, bro.
This far out now on paper that is improving the foundation of what PlayStation is right now. x86 hardware on PS4.
Like, anybody that has been playing on Xbox will tell you that is lazy, bro. I would have seen more of an improvement on the One X, bro. That is some of the laziest stuff that I've ever seen, bro. Oh, look at his jacket, look a little bit more shiny. Oh, really? Bruh, come on, man. Y'all capping so hard, bro. I don't care how powerful your console is now, bro. Like, that's the upgrade? Are you serious? Even the One X got more graphical improvements than what I've seen. And the PS5 Pro blows it out freaking 13-1, right? Like the PlayStation 5 hardware sales. Man, I'm going to advise you guys, man. Even though the power is underneath the hood, it's not worth it for your old games. If you're buying a PS5 Pro, then more likely you should be buying it for the Final Fantasy VII Rebirths. You know, the games that kind of struggled a bit, that probably more likely have more of a playable experience on the Pro. That is it. That's all you're getting out of this, bro. That's all you're getting. When it comes to backwards compatibility, Sony clearly don't know how to do it. And if they do know how to do it, they're going to remaster and remake the game so you have to buy it again. So what is the point of this console, bruh? What is the point? Like, man, it's like, I want to like this console, guys. This is what you people don't understand. And I try to bait people with me trading all my things. That was clearly a joke, obviously. I would never do that. But like I said, this is crazy, bro. Like, the fact that people like Mystic is out here capping and just can't be like, yo, Sony, come on, man. Xbox do a far better job than this. And, you know, and the hardware ain't even as powerful as this PS5 Pro. And yet, we out here moving sliders on the game. Talk about, it's depending on the fog in the area. Bro, get out of here, bro. The fact that your game got fog like Silent Hill shows you that Sony didn't even improve the image quality. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, man. And like I said, man, the PS5 Pro is still a scam. The system is powerful. Like I said, congratulations to the PlayStation ponies for having a more powerful console than the Series X as of finally. But to be honest with you, after these updates and enhancements to these games that I've seen, Sony, you got to do a better job than this, man. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, man. And like I said, take care. Peace out.